Okay, you're good to go. CMAC is ready. It's streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and we're recording. So.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's virtual Multi-Generation Center community meeting. My name is TJ Miller. I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Fresno. On behalf of the City of Fresno and City Council District 4, I'd like to thank you all for making time to join us so we can present to you the vision that we've created for a new and exciting community amenity located right here at Large Park. This evening, we're accompanied by Council Member Paul Capriolio and his Chief of Staff, Laura Rios. We also have our Planning and Development Director, Jennifer Clark, Public Works Director, Scott Mosier, Christina Chamberlain, our Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation, Debbie Bernard, the Project Manager, and our LDA partner for the consultant on the project, Eric Wool. Before we get started this evening, we just want to do a couple housekeeping items. The agenda is posted on the screen. We're going to go through each of the sessions, and towards the end, we'll have a question and answer period, and we really welcome and encourage to hear everything that you have to say for what we're presenting to you this evening. So with that, I will hand this over to our council member, Paul Capriolio.
Thank you very much, TJ. Good evening, everyone. I'm Vice President Paul Capriolio, and I want to thank all of you for this extremely exciting moment for me. My heart is pounding. This is such an amenity, and we've worked so long and hard to be here today. So thank each and every one of you for participating and helping us get this project into reality. Before that, I want to take a few important minutes here to thank people as well, because these things don't happen unless you have a great team with you, beside you, and pushing you along. Here we had the mayor, his administration, Scott Mosier, Deborah Bernard, Erica Lopez, and the Public Works team, Fresno Unified School District, of course, Jennifer Clark and her DARM team, Christina Chamberlain and TJ Miller, and the park team. And also a special thanks to Gavin and the ISD team for helping actually putting this thing together as far as a virtual meeting. This is, when I was in high school back in the 60s, I never ever thought there'd be a virtual meeting like this, but I'm happy we have it because it's important not only to us, but to you, the constituents and people of the great city of Fresno. So I want to again state all those people and many more I haven't mentioned for getting this project off the ground, and they're willing to work and willing to do what you want us to do and willing to make this a reality in our district. It's been a long time coming, and this is a giant step in this process. This meeting follows many, many months of initial discussions about the desired components of this that you can see with the drawings and the projections that we have for and options for this fantastic facility. Multi-generational community center. Those are very important words. They're all encompassing, they're very, very precise, but yet general as to what our mission and goal is this evening and for the balance of my time as your city council member. The city council unanimously endorsed taking this step and directed the staff as well as myself and my team to initiate this public comment. We're thrilled to see the city moving forward and obtaining this community feedback on what you want and what you think, as well as the design phase and the different attributes that this facility will have. If you have a chance to look, or if you haven't, please look at the various options that we have. It's incredible. This will actually be a template for other developments in the city of Fresno. We're the trendsetters. We are going to make this city turn the chapter to a new page, a new chapter of public parks and the services that we provide the people of the great city of Fresno. I'm sure many of you, I've heard many constituents talk about this. We need a centralized community center. we need to have a place to meet. And if you haven't listened to our meetings for many years, I've complained that District 4 was the only community area without a community center. And now we're about to make the dream come true. And again, my heart is racing. I got a little tear because this is it's been a long battle. And with this team, we're going to get there. And with your input, help, and support, it's a given. So we'd like to begin this meeting and have your input. This will be an ability, a facility, an area where we can have senior activities, children activities, anything that people want. We'll finally have a place of senior hot meals. I could go on and on and on. So this is really exciting. So we will continue to work collaboratively, and we're going to ensure that the new center meets the needs of our entire community. And that's why we're here today. We want to get your input, your desires from the community for this community multi-generational center. Boy, I could go on and on. But anyway, I know, I am personally committed to ensure the new center meets all the current and, more importantly, future needs of District 4. So with that, I'd like to begin by turning the microphone over, if you will, the virtual screen over to Jennifer Clark with Darn. Thank you guys very much. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Capriolio. So as you just heard, the council member had a vision for creating an improved park facility with community center in District 4. And staff has been working very closely with the council member to identify appropriate funding and how can we take this vision and make it into a reality. This spring, the City Council approved the use of $2.5 million of City General Fund and a little over $7.5 million of federal dollars, including an application for a Section 108 loan from the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development. Those applications have been submitted to the federal government, and our application is in process in our local office and will be in Washington soon for review and approval. This project is anticipated to cost a little over $10.5 million and will be paid for by, like I said, a combination of federal funds and local general fund. These programs are intended to serve populations that don't have facilities. So as the council member stated earlier, this is an area of the community that is lacking in improved green space, is lacking in community facilities like a community center. So that's one of the primary reasons that we are able to use some of the federal resources to enhance and improve this area. These funds, once approved, will be allocated to the city, and the city will be able to complete its bidding and construction process. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Christina Chamberlain, who's going to talk about parks activities. Christina, you're muted.
And is my screen sharing? Okay, well, good evening and welcome. I'm going to take a few moments to share just a couple of slides of some of the primary areas of programming and activities that could be held here at the new Multi-Gen Center. And one of our key focuses and one of our primary needs, we had a park master plan update a couple of years ago, had a lot of community input on some of the programming and recreational needs within our communities. And having a strong, comprehensive senior program is one of our priorities. So we're hopeful that some of the activities that are shown here as just examples could be integrated into our new center. So a lot of the arts and crafts type of painting, ceramics, the primary service that would probably serve our senior population is what we refer to as a congregate meal program, where we have healthy meal during the lunch hour and then social activities before and after that. And outdoor activities, a whole host of different things that would be focused on what we consider our mature adult needs and desires.
Excuse me, Christina, your screen is not sharing. You haven't shared anything yet.
Okay, I had asked if it went through, so I apologize for that. Is it up now?
Yes, now it's good.
Okay, so here are just a couple of examples, as I mentioned, ceramics, painting, exercise, indoor and outdoor, and one of the key service areas that we'd like to consider is an actual congregate meal program. And then moving on to our younger needs for recreation and programming. And if I could get a thumbs up that the next screen is showing after school activities, thank you. As a multi-gen, we are trying to serve all ages. And traditionally in our community centers for the after school activities, we provide, again, a bunch of different types of science, arts, sports opportunities on site. And then having a health and nutrition component, we do a lot of cooking classes in some of our other neighborhood centers. And really what we're presenting to you tonight are just really ideas to spark some of your thinking of what you feel that you would want and need in your multi-gen center. So at the end of our presentation, as was mentioned earlier, we want to hear back from you. And what we're really looking for are some of your priorities of what you'd like for us to incorporate into our programming activities and services that will be provided out of this center. And then along the lines with all of our public facilities, we also are able to provide, again, thumbs up if the next one showed up, community use and events at our new park and revised park area. And then these are, again, just some examples of the inside facility that we could host a variety of different types of community meetings or training programs. We could do special events outdoors and indoors. Shown there is some of our traditional outdoor movies that we like to circulate throughout the community in our park system. And then obviously some play apparatus, picnic pavilion. And then another big component for our community is we want to have access to what's referred to as like a computer lab or the ability to get connected. So these are some of our core services and activities. Again, the list can be endless, and we're going to want to hear back from you of some of the things that you'd like to see developed as far as the activities and programming. And we will recap some of those ideas here that, again, these are just examples. So for youth and adult, may have some outdoor soccer, maybe basketball court. For our mature adult seniors, maybe horseshoes. Pickleball is really upcoming sport that's enjoyed, bocce ball and petanque, and then a variety of different classes, what we refer to as recreation and leisure. And then the whole community aspect of exercise, fitness, open space, the computer lab, as I mentioned, and then really the facility being available to our other organizations, our partners for doing any kind of training or other outreach within the community. So again, at the end of tonight, we're looking for you to provide to us your thoughts and your priorities. Thanks. And I will be turning it back to now our Public Works Director, Scott Mosier.
All right. And Christina, if you could stop sharing, that's perfect. All right. So let me share the agenda again briefly.
Scott, you're like an air traffic controller at the airport.
Just got to land the plane. All right. So great to see everyone this evening. Thank you so much for taking your time to gather virtually with us. Often I've had the chance to meet with many of you in community meetings, and often you'll think of public works as potholes, street lights, or traffic type issues. And those are very important activities, but just a couple of the 7 divisions, some very critical things that we do, we're really excited about as a service to every other department in the city, is the cost-effective and successful management of projects through the design and the construction process. So Public Works here is really as a service, working hand in hand with our Parks Department on the project. And our mission is really, to gather that community input, and for Parks Department as really the ultimate operator, owner of the facility, delivering these programs and services to the community to ensure that we're really successful implementing the desired vision of the project that reflects the mayor, reflects the city council, and that community input that's involved. We're responsible for ensuring that things are done on time and on budget, and to navigate through that process. So we're very excited to be here with you this evening. And a very critical role is, of course, the project manager, who really oversees our design team. The design firm is a liaison with not only Parks Department, can answer questions from the community, work with our building department on permitting. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you Debbie Bernard, our project manager. So Debbie has some things to share.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you everyone for coming to our virtual community meeting. Over the next 2.5 years, the process of getting this project developed will be in a large part the design, which will take the remainder of this year as well as most of next year. We will probably have the plans ready to go to Jennifer's department for review by the end of next year. The design will take into account your wishes and Council President, Vice President Capriolio's wishes, and everything that we hear today. That is why we have the design consultant here as well to explain his concepts that he has currently come up with. Once the design is complete, then we take the plans and the specifications that have been written and we publish those on our website for local contractors and out-of-town contractors to submit their bids on. Once the bidding process is complete, then we will go to council for final award of a construction contract, and we will begin the construction activities, which we foresee taking approximately another year to actually construct. So we will be in construction, we foresee, in the year 2022. To get to all of those aspects completed, it is coordinating closely with Christina and TJ in the Parks Department, Jennifer and her staff in the Building Department for review and code compliance, with the council member's office for his review of the plans and concepts, as well as coordinating with the design consultant and reviewing his plans on a specific time frame. It's a very exciting project. It's going to be a large building, and you will see. I don't want to give away what we think we're going to do. Those layouts are coming right after I'm done here. So with that, I'd like to present Eric Wool with LDA Partners. He's our design consultant. And Scott Mosier will be presenting the layouts for you to look at.
Thanks, Debbie. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. What we'd like to do over the next few minutes is go through some various site options so you guys can get an idea of different things that we're considering and looking at. And what we really want to do is get your input on how things are laid out. We're going to show you 4 different site options, and they all have pretty much the same components, but they're organized in a different way. And we want to get your input because it's your community and it's your neighborhood. We want to understand what you think is going to be best for you. And so we'll start here with this first site option. And you can see that our main we have a split parking lot. So we have up in the northwest corner, we have 74 parking stalls, and down on the southeast corner, there's another 68 stalls for 142 parking stalls total. We have a full-size regulation soccer field in the middle of the park. And on the western side of that is our proposed generations facility surrounded by other site amenities, which would include outdoor basketball courts, outdoor volleyball courts, shade structures, playgrounds for children, and a garden area, a walk around throughout the park itself. Over on the upper right-hand corner, that would be the northeast corner, additional green space, some terraced landscape, and pathways through the park. The idea being it's a pleasant way to cross through the park to get to the community facility. On all the facilities, all the layouts that we're going to show you, we're contemplating the soccer field to be lighted and have temporary bleacher seating around it. So for option 2, Scott, if you can go to that one. This option here shows the parking lot up in the upper northwest corner. This has 109 parking stalls. The soccer field is pushed over to the eastern side, facing 8th Street. And then the building is front and center on the parking lot. And then surrounding the building again are the various site amenities. Basketball courts, volleyball courts, shade structures, play structures. This is organized a little bit differently so that some of the outdoor amenities kind of flow more into the soccer area. And so what we really want to get your input on again is how things are organized on site and how they flow and how you think you might use them. Option 3 shows a parking lot that actually goes through from Millbrook all the way to 8th Street. There's 159 parking stalls here. The soccer field is organized to Millbrook Avenue, and then the building over towards 8th Street. So the main parking lot is a little bit organized off of 8th Street. We have a drop-off, again, play structures, outdoor basketball, shade structures, outdoor volleyball, various site amenities, more terraced landscaping, and pathways throughout the site. And then the last option, which we wanted to show to you, is kind of like a variation of option 2, where we have the parking up on the northwest corner again off of Millbrook. There's 138 parking stalls, a more defined drop-off, if you will. And the soccer field is now organized more towards 8th Street against the eastern side. All the site amenities are then behind the building a little bit, more towards Ashcroft Avenue. And then what you'll notice on this, as opposed to the other one, is really just kind of the organization of the building itself. This is kind of, the building is all on a 45-degree angle as opposed to being orthogonal to the street grid. And we wanted to get your input on that. That might have an ability to give a little different architecture to the community and the overall development. That's a very brief overview of the different sites. And then from that, we can kind of move on to maybe getting some questions.
Thank you, Eric. So we're going to open it up for questions, comments. And what we'll do is we'll ask for you to raise your hand in the Zoom app by, I believe if you click on options, there is a raise hand, and that way we can identify you. And then please just state your name and address and let us know how we can answer your questions, or we can have open discussion on the thoughts of the plan that we presented. So,
Jay, the way you get to the raise hand is they would click on participants. At the bottom of the participants window, there should be an icon to raise hands. If you're on the telephone, you press *9 to raise your hand. Once you've been recognized, you'll need to unmute yourself in order to speak.
Okay, so we'll start with Videl Medina.
Well, let me unmute myself here. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Videl Medina. I'm the System Change Advocate for Resources for Independence Central Valley here in Fresno. We provide services for persons with disabilities. So Eric, I have two questions regarding whether or not there's been plans or there's in any of these for public transportation access to the park, whether they be benches, locations, has that been thought of? And is the entire park going to be ADA compliant? And that's my question. Thank you.
So I can answer the second question first about being ADA compliant. So everything that we're doing nowadays is fully ADA compliant, the building and all site amenities.
Scott, are you able to address the public transportation portion of the question? I know it's accessible. I can't remember if there's currently a bus stop near the park.
I believe there is.
I believe there is a transit stop. It's less than a half mile from the park. And we do have an ADA path of travel along the sidewalks, public sidewalks to the park. Certainly our transportation department, FACTS, regularly they evaluate just the user desires and where the popular destinations are. And they regularly adjust routes. And if there were a stronger desire for a stop, that's something they could evaluate operationally and see if an additional bus stop should be added.
Thank you, and thank you for your question. Next, we have Russ and Stacy Matheson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just had a quick question. Russell and Stacy Matheson over at 3368 East Holland. We had a question regarding the 4 possible options. Is there going to be a place where we might be able to review these from a citizen standpoint, just a brief overview of it, like a website maybe later on?
Yes, there will be. Scott, you could probably weigh in. I don't think we've completely vetted through exactly how we're going to do it, if it's going to be a separate website, or we'll most likely have a link on our website that goes to a page where you can look at the different design options as well as the different amenities, and not only prioritize or cast a vote for the design that you like the best, but also provide comment, as well as sending out surveys. But I do not believe we're sending out the site plans. We're going to just have it up on our website. Would you concur, Scott? Is that?
Yes, absolutely. And that's something where, again, we'll coordinate with Council Vice President Capriolio's office, but we'll make sure that the community has information on where to find that on the website. So we may be following up with, for example, like a postcard with that information.
Thank you for your question. Next, I don't have a name, but I have a number, 375-3532.
Hello, am I here?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, I'm, oh wow, can't believe this. I'm Andrea, and I'm at 3716 East Ashcroft. I'm directly across the street from the park, and I've been over here over 50 years. I'm just amazed, and I don't even know where to start. As one of the residents over here, there's a lot of them that I have been going door to door. They don't have computers, so I've been going to a lot of the senior citizens We value this park. Great idea, just the wrong park. We have family reunions here. We have great people that come to this park. I actually went to Thomas Elementary. My sisters went to Thomas Elementary. My grandkids are Thomas Elementary. And we deal with a lot over here. And no, there's no bus stops over here. And I'm glad it's not. We have had to deal with gang members. I've had to fight a few people that have just did a lot of stuff at this park. We finally got the grass green. We finally got the trees green. We finally got this park the way we like it to look. When I come home from work, I like to relax and sit on my porch and see a grass. When you guys talk about these activities, guess what? When you go home and lay your heads down, we have to deal with the noise. I'm tired of noise. The school is enough. I have had to run away pedophiles. There's been little girls that and I'm older now. I'm 55 and I'm tired. I don't want to fight no more. I don't want to have to chase any more sick people away from the school because I have grandkids there. So I don't watch just my grandkids. I watch every kid at Thomas Elementary School. We have never had anyone come over here and protect us, watch us. Every Saturday and Sunday, there's a flag football team that comes, a soccer team. We've had the residents, we've had to go over there and make them all get along with each other. It's been a lot. So I don't know if you guys don't take the time to come see what we're going through. You know, this is just a piece of park. And everybody is trying to attack it. Everybody wants to build something. Can we just have our park? You know, we're not upset about this program, but it's just the wrong park. The school is enough for us. It's just a piece of park. And we always having people coming over here want to build stuff, want to tear our trees down. The picture you have on there, that's an old picture. I can send you guys some updated pictures. The trees that they cut down, I have the stumps in my backyard. I just don't appreciate the fact that, they just want to build something. That's more noise for us. We have enough noise. It's COVID-19. It's a sad thing, but guess what? It gave us a break. Some of us can have peace of quiet. On Wednesdays, every Wednesday, the trash day, that's my best day. You know why? Because on Thursday and Friday, I can leave my trash can out there, so I don't have to worry about people parking in front of my house, stealing my plants, breaking my bricks. My car has been stolen twice. We've had so many cars over here broken into because of activity at that park. When they come to soccer games, when they do the gym aerobics, guess what? Somebody's house gets broken into. Somebody's car, because there's always bad people that come and mess it up for the good people. That would sound great, but it brings drama. It brings more breaking in. I had to get my house gated up because they kept stealing my car. Every time it was a soccer game, I have to go outside and, call a police officer to tell them to come check on us. I call the city to come check on us. Nobody checks on us. I haven't had anyone come check on Millbrook, Ashcroft, the school. When school is out, I go to the park and make sure these kids get inside their parents' car, the right car, chasing away guys that are hanging around the park, pedophiles, looking at kids. It's been some sick stuff. You guys, y'all need to come check, come see what's going on before you start to try to build something. See what's going on first in the neighborhood. Check us out. Come door to door. Don't just build something and not knowing what's going on.
Andrea, we thank you very much for your we thank you very much for your comments, and we do value those. We do have other callers that are waiting. I'm not certain if Councilmember Capriolio wants to reserve comment for closing comments, or would you like me to just carry on, Councilmember?
Well, Andrea, thank you for your comments. This is how I learn and how we learn, and I appreciate that a lot. With the school issues, we have a good relationship with Fresno Unified, and we can have a meeting with them and try to address these issues. And we used to have a law enforcement officer on campuses in the Fresno Unified School District area, various campuses, in particular Hoover High School. And it seemed to work out very well. So this gives us impetus to go to the next level. That's to try to resolve some of these issues in partnership with Fresno Unified and anyone else that would like to participate. As far as conflicts with soccer teams and people, it's, you know, I mean, people are people. I don't know how to correct people who just don't have common sense or common courtesy or common manners. That's the issue. But I do feel as a public park, the more people that are there, the less trouble you have, plus park staff and management. So I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but I can assure you it's going to be a lot better. And you will still have your green space. You can still have your community functions there, your reunions, anything, birthday parties, whatever you think. And I feel that more people that real basketball, whatever activity you want to engage in, indoors or outdoors, it's here. It's something that all of us want and all of us need. We need recreation. We need the ability to utilize. We will do our best to correct some of these problems. Thank you for your, appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Council Vice President. And I just do want to add on there that this would be a site staffed by our Parks Department. And it is anticipated that there would be activity there during the daytime and the evenings. There would be community events, and it becomes part of the community and part of the solution. So that's the goal, is to be a solution, not create additional issues. So we'll address those as we go through. So thank you very much. Next, we have Deanna Matthews.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for putting this meeting together. I appreciate the time that you've all put into planning this. We live at 3656 East Norwich. I have lived here my entire life. I bought a house on the corner from where my mom and dad built the house when it was still fig trees and peaches. And they still live there, 88 and 89 years old. So I've watched this neighborhood grow and change. I went to Thomas, Tioga, and Hoover, very invested in the community of Fresno. I love the concept. So I'm an educator. I'm an early educator with Fresno Unified. I love the programming around things for young children and for the more mature residents in our area. I agree with the previous caller. I don't think the location is the right location. A couple of years ago, I happened to be in a meeting with our council member and the mayor, and they were discussing a different site on Gettysburg and Cedar where there is a strip mall that's really not occupied anymore and has some land behind it. I think that's an area that would be ideal for something like this. So I am not opposed to the concept, but I voted for the Parks Initiative. I voted to create more green space in Fresno. And I realize there's still green space in your concepts, but I think taking out a park that is used on the weekends isn't the right move. I really think getting rid of some blight in the area of Gettysburg and Cedar would be good. And then I also have concerns. We live right across the street from Thomas School, go Tigers. I have some concerns about the traffic on Millbrook. My husband and I watched, when we were not in COVID, stay in place, we watched children and families dodge cars walking across the crosswalk. And luckily we did have some volunteers before, but it's spotty at this point. Traffic is bad on Millbrook. And the school drop-off, Thomas is one of the worst school drop-offs in our city. There's no parking. We usually have people parking in our driveway or blocking our driveway just because they want to get their kids to school on time. So those are our concerns. I worry about the kids at Thomas and taking out some green space. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
TJ, did I answer all those questions? All right, thank you. Thank you for your input. We appreciate that. And our initial efforts were directed at behind the CVS store and the malt strip facility there. Sarah Pillabos is the owner of that property. Very gracious lady. So in the process of trying to locate a place to create a new park, that was one of our choices. So in the process of trying to create a donation from her to us, the park was 4 acres. It was actually 3.82, I believe, acres. So, and that's pretty tight for what we want to do. But we wanted to do that. We wanted to try it. And so we worked with Sarah as much as we could. But the 3.8 acres, as you know, Bob's Burgers is open now. And so that wanted a drive-through. So that took off some of the entrance that we had proposed or thought about. So it eliminated some of the frontage there that was important. Then the south side of that area, there's businesses, and they want to expand their parking into that acreage that we wanted to develop. And then on the other side, that'd be the side closest to the I guess you call it a strip mall, the buildings that are there, they needed a lot line adjustment that would take off some land going south, if that makes sense, from their edge. So the net effect was we were under 2 acres. And so that would not, with the theme and the template and what we're trying to create here for future generations in the city of Fresno, it didn't work. So regrettably, we talked to Sarah about it, and again, very gracious and very giving, but it wasn't the right place. So now you mentioned parking. We plan to share the parking with Fresno Unified. So when those busy mornings come, we'll have more opportunity for parents to get off the street, if you will, and to drop the children off. And I believe there's gates on the backside where this current green space is. So we are willing to work with them and try to make that happen. And I don't think I think you said take out a park. We're not taking out a park. We're increasing the amenities and versatility and the appropriateness for everyone to enjoy this facility. So I hope I answered a few of your questions, and thank you for sharing. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And I just wanted to add that to Vice President's comments that we are enhancing that park space. We're not taking away a park. We're enhancing the amenities. We're transforming it from a passive park space to a very active community engagement park space. And also wanted to identify that when you put a community center within a strip mall and there's no green space accompanying it, you miss the interaction of the indoor-outdoor activity, that positive flow back and forth of activities, and it lends to a more comprehensive environment. So next we have Glenna Gamble. Glenna, can you hear us?
Actually, you're gonna have to hold on a second. Glenna is using an older version of Zoom and it's not allowing them to talk. I'm gonna have to temporarily move them over to a panelist and then they can talk and I'll move them back. But Glenna, I would highly recommend you update your Zoom for security reasons.
Thank you, Gavin.
You bet. And Glenna.
Welcome, Glenna.
Hi, Glenna. Welcome.
You have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, this
There
one's
you
a
go.
new one for me, so I'm trying to figure out what's happening in this one.
Doing good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys was mentioning something about a park like on Millbrook and H. They don't even go together, do they? Or other areas?
No, there were Eric got his symbol mixed up. So no, it's not H. So don't worry about that.
Okay, so where is exactly District 4?
District 4 runs from Bullard Avenue to the north. To the east would be Blackstone, or to the west rather. Blackstone East is part of the district. And as it goes down to like Ashland, it goes in and drop. It's a kind of an unusual shape. And the reason for that is they wanted to equalize the districts with population. Right now, we're probably at about 78,000 in District 4. And then it goes all the way, it wraps around Clovis. It includes Fashion Fair. It includes the FYI airport that we're just expanding with $115 million of federal money. And it also includes, as you can see, maybe you can't see, but I have my colors on. That is my Fresno State University tie. Fresno State University is a huge asset for the community. I might add, I don't mean to get going, but I'm so proud of my district. The Air National Guard at the airport, they bring in $77 million a year to our economy.
Wow.
So that's great. But I don't want to get off on my proudness. I want to be here to answer your questions and help you make a choice.
Oh, sorry. I do know that we need more parks. And I see a lot of the kids, you know, bouncing basketballs, but there's no place, there's no hoops, there's no place for them to play.
Well, this facility has basketball courts, at least 2 full courts on each of the proposed diagrams. And I wish you could see them. I mean, can you see them by chance? I'm just curious.
I saw some maps earlier on the computer, but I don't see them recently.
Okay.
This is Scott Moser. I can go ahead and share those again.
Okay.
All right, give me a moment and they will be right back up on the screen. Okay. All right, we're getting there. Thanks everybody for bearing with me here.
Good enough. Just let me add this. Eric was looking at North 8th Street, which is
correct. It was 8th.
8th, yeah. So but we are all in the same spot now. We got it on the screen, so I hope you can see it. North 8th, as in after 7.
Okay. Because my address is 5148 East Hedges Avenue. I'm not that far from the airport. And I know there's a couple of empty lots kind of in the area south of the airport. I don't know if they could put a park in that area or not, but then we would have to cross the street on Peach and Olive in order to get to it.
I'm not familiar with that location, but we'd be more than interested. For me, taking off of your statement and our previous comment on Anita Park space, I'd green up everything in Fresno if we could. I think we all, the people who worked on this project tirelessly, citizens, but it's funding and it's a little bit complicated, but believe me, we all love green space. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Because it would give the kids something to do. I mean, if this virus ever goes away, you know, and like some of the other people said, you know, they like the greenery, you know, and they need to have some activity, whether it's older people or, you know, or kids or teenagers.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And if you get a chance to look, you can see each one of these facilitates everything from parking off the street to activity in the proposed building to soccer, volleyball, shade, picnic tables. Just go over there at lunch with a sandwich and sit and enjoy the atmosphere. So that's why it's multi-generational. That's why we want to include everyone to enjoy an amenity like this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Any other questions?
Not that I can think of right now.
Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate that.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Yes. Thank you. Next, we have Mary Haskin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm a former resident of D4, now a resident of D7, but I attended Thomas as a child. My kids went to Thomas. I was a soccer coach for several years, and my teams were practicing at Large Park and at Rotary. So I just am late to knowing about this meeting, but I wanted to give my input, and I heard the input from some of the other residents that have lived here for a long time. So myself as well, you know, attended Thomas back in the mid and late 70s. So we care about this area. I do like the plans. I like 2 and the other variation of 2, with the park being closer to 8th Street. As a soccer coach, it's easier that way. It's unfortunate that, yeah, with the crowds, the neighborhoods are kind of messed with. So obviously, if there's a way to bring security with these events and stuff to monitor the neighborhoods around, Large Park is a jewel, and I understand why people don't want it to be built upon. So as much green space that can be kept along the border of Ashcroft and 8th Street would probably be ideal. But yeah, so, you know, it's sad when we see trees cut down. It's a jewel for everybody in the neighborhood. So I do like the idea. But if you can just monitor security and just don't eliminate the green space so that when they're sitting on their front porch, they can still see that green right in front of them.
Thank you for your comments. Let me add a couple of things. Thanks for being a coach. I did a little bit. My kids enjoy, but it's a lot of work. They have
It is. I did it I had 2 boys, so I was a mom coaching boys teams, and I coached them from U6 all the way to U12. So we even got to the city finals for U12. So a lot of great memories at that school.
Well, you mentioned Rotary West as well. And Laura Rios, my chief of staff, and my team, as well as the city, the people that we're talking to today, we've taken Rotary West and we've improved that facility. We've repaved, refenced, put new bark down. We've got the basketball court in a pretty good condition. We've got LED lightings. And I think if you saw it today, you would recognize it because it's got its basic shape. But
right.
The ball, we really...
Right, and that's one of the things, not just for D4, but in D7, like not only just Rotary Parks, but we have Manchester Park, but I think the Water District really kind of mans that. Like those parks need attention too. Like they need some love, because during the winter time, you know, soccer teams are using those. Softball teams use them too. So I remember as a child going to them and doing activities with Parks and Rec. And then when we moved to D7, there's a wading pool in Manchester Park. I remember going over there, and, you know, so I don't know if that's possible to get Parks and Rec back in there with activities. Other than that, it's just a dumping ground for homeless. But I do appreciate attention to those parks, if you guys can make those a priority. But yeah, just if you can maintain a lot of green space for those residential streets on Ashcroft, for those neighbors, you know, and just, but there's a lot of unused space in Large Park, but definitely it is a used park. So please don't take all of it. So anyways, my thoughts.
Well, Rotary West talked to Fresno State, and they have no practice fields, if you can believe that, a major university. And so Dr. Castro and his team and our team have been working together with FID to utilize that space. So when people are there, the less desirable people, shall we say, go away. So they need it. We would like to have it used in that fashion. It helps everyone, the university, the neighborhood, everyone. So we're very active in these ideas, but thank you for your ideas and your time. And I think I'd like to have the residents that live on Ashcroft, if they could tell us which of the proposals they prefer. I have a feeling it might be 2 and 4, because the soccer field is on the right and green space off of Ashcroft. But that's a neighborhood question, so I'd love to hear choices. But thank you for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And next up, we have Andrea Velos.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, my name is Andrea Velos. I'm at 3637 East Norwich, which is just right off of Millbrook Avenue. I've been in the neighborhood for 18 years. And not only do I live in the area, I now teach at Thomas Elementary. All of our children have attended Thomas Elementary. So again, I agree with all of the comments that have already been said about the park just being a jewel to our neighborhood and a really great asset. And as the previous caller mentioned, I really do like the concept and trying to keep as much green space at that park as possible. My husband also coached for the North Fresno League and did so from U8, I believe, up to U18. And so it is like our neighborhood jewel. And so the green space is really important. My concern though, goes along with security in the parking lot. So when I look at your different plans and the closer the parking lot is to the elementary school, at some point in time, I would hope that our children are back on campus and recess lunch times when the students are out on the field near A Street and the parking lot being so close. My concern then is with security.
Thank you for teaching and thank you for the comments. And I think we're going to be able to address that in conjunction with the school. They're very receptive to working together.
Yes, thank you. Next, we have Renee Lopez.
Hi, I'm sorry. Good evening. So we've been here for over 20 years as well, and we are on Ashcroft. The way the plan is set up, it looks like, yeah, you do have greenery there, but the footprint of the whole park is basically going to be gone. You have a soccer field. Is that soccer field going to be accessible to anybody? Or are they going to be able to have to go through some type of invitation? You know, you got to put your name down and then you're going to be able to use it. There's a lot of kids. I mean, my kids are all gone out of the home, just me and my wife. But we see the park being utilized in different aspects. You got, like the lady was saying earlier, you have flag football teams going out there and playing, practicing. They do it every day or every other day. They're there on the weekends. You got coaching that are coaching soccer teams out there, little kids, and they're out there practicing almost every other day, or if not every day. So you got that going on. Are these kids still going to be able to utilize this footprint? The way it sounds is, you know, they may not. Is this thing fenced? Is it gated? Is it open to just walking across the field if somebody was trying to get across the park? I like option 2.
Let me interrupt you, Renee. I understand your questions, but what would be your preferences? We would like to hear.
Well, the whole thing is that you're taking the park away from the public, and now you're leaving green, which is awesome, but you're taking the park away from the public, and you're not going to allow these kids to go out there and practice and utilize the park the way they're utilizing it now. So what do you do? And I'm asking that question to you guys, being that you're taking the park. We're saying we want the park.
Well, let me say this. We're not, in my view, taking the park. We're opening up the park. As TJ had indicated earlier, it's a passive community situation, number one. Number two, it becomes active. And why is that? You're concerned about the green space. We are as well. Mm-hmm. Look at the drawings. Now we're going to have a building. We can do bingos, dancing, meeting, a variety of appeal to other people that may want to play soccer or use the green field. We've got basketball. We've got just a shade structure, as I said earlier. Grab your barbecued burgers, go across the street, grab a table, and enjoy.
So you're saying then it's open to the public. So nothing's gated, nothing's closed out.
I'm saying it's a public park, and you are the public. I am the public, and we will enjoy this park. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the questions. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mary Haskin.
Just to follow up with the previous commenter. So will there be, like, Rotaries have gates? So will the soccer field and the basketball courts have gates around them, or will just the parking lot and the building, the community center, have a gate around it? Or will the entire park be gated around the perimeter?
What would you prefer?
I would prefer, like the previous caller's concern, is to leave the soccer fields and the basketball fields ungated. And if you're, for security reasons, gate that community center, I guess. And if you want to gate the parking lot, but then we leave the parking lot open if you're going to have Parks and Rec come and open it, for parking. But that's what he's talking about, the immediate access to, you would need that to, if you gate up those the soccer field and then the basketball, then yeah, you make it harder for people that want to just randomly go out there and practice with their teams, or kids. Like right now, what we struggle with in D7 is to get into that park at Manchester Park, they cut the fences. So for security, I know you want to keep your building secure, and I get that, but I think that the soccer field and the basketball fields, they need to be open so people can just walk on without having to call somebody for a reservation or somebody to come and unlock it.
Mary, you're doing exactly what the purpose of this meeting is, and that's to give us your experience and your input in what you'd like to see. So that'll definitely be on our list of considerations when we try to develop this further and further. And let me just say a little side note: you should not have left D4. You should come back from D7.
Don't worry, I have a great relationship with your incoming follower, so I've given him my thoughts. And I have lots and lots of friends in D4. So that's, D4 is where I grew up. That's always my heart.
Well, I've been in the district 45 years. I'm south of Shaw between Maple and Cedar, and I love it. I'm not going to move. I love it's a little house, but it's a comfortable house, and it's paid for. So I'm really happy. But thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. So at this time, I don't see any other attendees. We just have Deanna Matthews just raised her hand. Deanna?
Hi, this is my last comment and I'll be succinct. I do think what I would like to propose is that we wait to have a community meeting in person when it's appropriate, when the health guidelines allow us to. This community has many senior citizens that don't have access to computers or aren't computer savvy. So that's my only other input. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, TJ?
No, that's it. So with that, we do want to reiterate how much we appreciate your community engagement. We value your opinions and your comments. We've all been taking notes, and we will have the drawing, the concepts up on our website. And when that is all complete, we will make sure that we get the notification out to everybody, and you can spread the word with your community. And with that,
I say again, TJ, thank you and the team that's been doing this today. As I said, when I was in high school in the 60s, I don't want to say early 60s, but maybe it was. But to have this type of, the COVID is just awful. It's awful. And so for you folks to come up with an alternative like this, to bring this community forward and to be able to participate and see what we've seen and have the input, you guys are again remarkable. And I thank each and every one of you that are here with us and those that are behind the scenes, like Laura Rios, my chief, putting all this together. So it's incredible. I'm excited. My problem is I can't pick one out. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to have to work on that and get a sleepless night or two to hopefully, suggest the right choice, because I live about a mile from here, and I plan on being there, and I love bingo and having community functions with everyone. So thanks to everyone. Thanks for all those that are listening and watching. Please communicate with us. Please let us know what you want, your pluses and minuses, and always, if you will, have a solution with you, something that you think would work, that would make our community, not just District 4, but the city of Fresno, a better place to live. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Thanks to you, TJ.
And we will continue to keep you informed as we work through the process. And once again, thank you to all the panelists and for all of you that are viewing. If you have any questions, let us know.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
See you soon.